Harry and Meghan are, in fact, the quintessential modern couple. It's not something that I follow all that often. I think I've done one or two videos about this, mostly because I find this relationship troubling for a multitude of reasons, mostly because when this eventually does dissolve, I can kind of look into that guy's eyes. And I remember, like, I'm young enough, and especially when it comes to the royal family in Canada always being just kind of the inferior baby brother to both America and to the UK. The royal family, it's always just kind of been a thing, right? Like growing up in the shadow of the death of Princess Diana, and then also seeing, Harry, bouncing around at clubs wearing interesting jackets. Like, he was always the wild child, and then for him to wife up a divorcee like that, it's like, what the hell are you doing? And then to see how he's just fallen from grace, it's super pathetic. But then to also properly assess this situation in the correct context, when this thing ultimately does go south, hopefully drastic measures aren't taken, but there's a reason I want to talk about this, and it isn't just to simply laugh at the out of touch wannabe royal, because Meghan Markle is in fact very detestable. But this whole situation of a guy who just simps for somebody who is just so far below their actual station, but somebody who is brought up with such an intense inferiority complex where they have to lash out in such a radical ways in order to get the attention that they think that they need, and then especially want to replace one dead whore of a mother with another one. It's a situation that a lot of guys find themselves in, and unless they're properly broke out of it, there's going to be some very drastic measures that are taken when they are at what they believe is their own ideological rope, and I don't want to see it, man. Okay, I can't help those who don't want to be helped, but if you're out there and you find yourself in a situation where you're completely and totally subservient to your bitch, like this guy very much is, she is dragging down not just your your own personal brand, but also leveraging your future so that she can go ahead and bolster her own independent of you. I don't want to see any guy go through this, because the system's not set up for guys to succeed. It's out there for predatory women to succeed. So the Meghan Markle Netflix series, which is just, it's so wild, right? Like, she's so uniquely untalented. What was she, like a side piece on Suits that got wildly popular on Netflix for a minute? And they thought, hey, you know what? She got some royal cachet, right? We need to go ahead and give them this big development deal. And because Netflix just hands out hack contracts after hack contracts, like what, round-headed Ryan Johnson after he killed off Star Wars, he got the big deal to do all of those very awesome Knives Out movies. Zack Snyder to do Rebel Moon. Was it part 3 or part 4 or whatever he is? He's trying to do his, what's the proper term for that, double trilogy. He got a big deal for that. Now Netflix wants to waste a bunch of money on a couple that just, like, I don't know anybody who's legitimate fans of these people. They are and have been the world's punching bag for years at this point in time. So what do they think they're getting out of this? Like, ironic comedy? I don't know, man. But this new series that she has, I've seen a couple of clips off of it, and it is such cringe. It's amazing. It's kind of like Michelle Obama, right? Like Big Mike starting up a podcast with her brother. Hormonal deficiencies don't fall too far from the tree in that family, but how their inauthenticity is getting completely and totally destroyed. It's the same thing, but because Netflix has already dealt with their public feedback problem all the way back with Amy Schumer and the leather special back in the cut, they don't really have to worry about immediate reaction to anything that they put out. They just have to wait for a social media reaction to it, and I guess they really are just living on people taking a look at one of the most inorganic people to ever be committed to screen, because that is 100% what you're getting off of this, okay? But yes, her Netflix series is being boosted by hate watchers despite abysmal ratings and threat of cancellation, says Newsweek. Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Like that whole thing of, oh, don't support the thing. Oh, even the reviewers that are out there reviewing whatever it is, Snow White, Assassin's Creed, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Like, here's the thing, man. Like, you see all of those things completely and totally fail. So the whole idea that, oh yeah, no hate watching. If you don't like something, you don't watch it. It's like, yeah, cool. As your own individual person, don't waste time. Like, if you hate something, just don't come back and watch it again. Don't support it or anything like that. Like, that's just silly silly. And if you're on the fence about something, get somebody else's whose opinion you trust to go ahead and do that if that's their job. If you've got a favorite reviewer online, somebody who follows this stuff, and you're unsure about something, whether or not it's a good way to spend your time, everybody has a finite resource and a finite amount of time that they can devote to entertainment and enriching their life. So yeah, wasting your time hate watching something, it's like, I couldn't imagine a more unctuous existence. But the good thing about this is I don't really think that there are that many hate watchers out there, because every time that studios and companies want to roll out that defense, it's always for very poorly reviewed, poorly watched products. So yeah, let's take a look at this. And the Meghan Markle and Netflix series With Love, Meghan is in a bind with predictable subpar viewership and numbers and the likelihood of cancellation. Yet Newsweek claims it's doing just fine thanks to all the hate watchers. Meghan Markle's Netflix series titled With Love, Meghan opened to a disastrous rating from both audiences and critics. The viewership numbers amounted to 526,000 households for the pilot episode within the first 5 to 6 days, according to Samba TV. Now, that's a subsection of the people that can access Netflix. It only takes into account certain apps that access the platform, so it's not necessarily giving you a full spectrum of the audience, but that's roughly half the viewership of Yes, Harry and Meghan, which drew in 2.1 million households in approximately the same number of days. But if you're doing an apples to apples comparison on Samba TV, yeah, that kind of lets you know that, well, Meghan Markle, even the people that just want to point and laugh at the narcissistic clown show, yeah, there's not very many people even bothering with it. So it's not unusual for the world's most disliked royal pains. At the end of January of 2025, an anonymous insider who has worked with Markle revealed that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are aware that they're more marketable together. Yeah, because people just want to see the soul and the spark of life just leave Harry's eyes. Because there's something perverse about seeing men suffer that just a bunch of box wife enthusiasts just really, really appreciate. It's very sad. The source claimed that their value is being a couple. Even if they wanted to split, they couldn't. Which, yeah, I think that this Netflix deal has very much brought to the forefront of Meghan and has probably pushed off a potential divorce for at least a little while longer. Not until she could potentially do a reality show about, I don't know, maybe like a third kid or something like that. Now the show is facing cancellation. According to the Daily Beast, an insider claimed that the Netflix bosses are all worried because they had a lot invested in the royal couple, and they don't know when and how to roll it all out. But here's another thing. Good news, everyone. Prince Harry offered a new Netflix series, despite deal set to expire later this year. Prince Harry is set to be offered the opportunity to create a documentary series about his mother, Princess Diana, to mark her 30th anniversary of, yes, her getting married to that Paris tunnel wall, according to a senior Hollywood source. The 2 or 3 part series could be released in 2027, 3 decades after Diana died in a car crash in Paris in August of 1997. The documentary would form part of a new long-term deal with Netflix for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as their current 5-year contract, understood to be worth around £80 million, yes, is set to expire later this year. So yeah, here's the thing, man, like, they aren't going away for a long time, and the fact that Newsweek wants to continue to spin this tragedy for as long as possible kind of lets you know where they're at, okay? Because Meghan Markle's much derided Netflix cooking show has made the top 10 globally in America and Britain, despite its many negative reviews. The Duchess of Sussex appears to have found a mark for her show among hate watchers. With Love, Meghan came in at 10, both worldwide and in the US, and 7 in the UK. Out of Meghan and Prince Harry's 5 Netflix projects, this is just the second show to break the top 10. Like, okay, cool. How many more backhanded compliments do you need to have here? Yeah, I'd gone to the top 10, the number 10 spot, and it's the second of 5 to break the top 10 after Polo, which, holy shit, man. Like, I heard a couple of just early reviews of that, and Jesus, they aren't any better doing the scripted stuff than they are with the reality projects, but she's just an unsettling looking woman. Heart of Invictus and Live to Lead, sure, failed to make the list. Her latest series, which she cooked with friends, yes, friends, including Mindy Kaling and celebrity chefs like Roy Choi, sure, did less well than the couple's original and Netflix biopic Harry and Meghan, which was largely expected. Oh yeah, see, because, you know, you got the likable half of the couple out there, you know, inorganically making food in a kitchen that has obviously never been used before in its entire existence, is much needed good news for Meghan after excoriating reviews from outlets with no particular axe to grind, such as Time, you know, which once named Meghan and Harry as on their list of 100 most influential people. So yeah, everybody hates it, but hey guys, you know, the people are paying attention to it, but are they really? But yes, despite all of this, and Netflix insists that Meghan Markle's solo show is just fine, but it's apparently, yes, the audience's fault. And what was the scuttle about this South Park joke from a few years back that, you know, Meghan really took that personally? Very funny. Their exact words: the Duchess of Sussex appears to have found a market for her show among hate watchers. Viewers generally watched the whole series, in contrast with some of Meghan's harsher critics who stated publicly that they lost interest only after a few episodes. Where's your data coming from? Yes, you read that correctly. Newsweek actually used the term hate watchers in defense of Markle's and Netflix show. Thus far, all other coverage of Markle's show has been negative and critical. In other words, it seems the royal couple is running out of outlets to pay for positive press. But hey, Newsweek, hey, they're more than willing to pay attention. And hey, if Meghan can go ahead and slap her name on a documentary about a dead mother-in-law, you know she's going to take that opportunity. And because Harry's too much of a cuck to just tell her to go ahead and, you know, stay out of this, she's going to try to just imagine, right? Like, you're doing a documentary of one of the most recognizable people and one of the most tragic deaths of the past 30 years. She's going to try to make it all about her, and she's going to have these big sob story little interjections and cutaways. It's going to be quite a pathetic thing to see. And for people who are far more immersed in the hate or the Meghan and Harry cringe, yeah, there is still quite a lot of mileage left in this bad road. And no, we're not just simply talking about Meghan. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.